Good morning to you. Welcome to my channel. For those of you that are experienced in how I channel and who I channel through, the etherical beings of love and light, I welcome you back. And I just want to say I hope that you enjoy this process as much as I do, for I truly feel almost such a sense of satisfaction, like a beautiful, amazing meditation that I've sat into, receiving these messages the way I do and as I do. So if you are new to this channel today, just take your time, allow yourself to breathe and just sit back and allow for it to just be received by you. And if it's not for you, then that is totally okay too. So, shall we bring spirit in? It is in this divine understanding, dear one, is it not, that we are to be called forth in this way, to become apparent to you, to speak these words of love and light so that you may willingly access them. The messages of which it is that are to be felt as to pour through you or to flow through you in this space of acceptance and recognition and respect into all it is that you are and of what it is that you do. We are willing participants in this way, to be felt, allowing of this voice to come through, to feel this frequency or this vibration from within into all it is that we are, to be the offerers of all that are, to know. We are in this sensing, dear ones, that many of you are to feel as though you are blowing in the wind, or to be holding on for dear life at the moment in a sensing of a fear and trying not to let go. Be willing, dear ones, we say, to hold this courageous sense of stance within you, to become this defined knowing in this allowance of all it is that you are, to respect this being, to feel of this voice again as it is to rise and knock upon the door, so to speak, to be calling you to hear of it again. For it is only in this allowance that must come from you, to be ignited again, to become this flare or this flame, to see into this lighted passion into which it is that you are to respond and reconnect into again. For it is in this very being, dear one, of which it is that you have sat, that you have improvised, that you have role-played, that you have felt a sense of stability, a regulation as a response to come over you, to feel as though you are to be non-hearing or discrediting even of this voice of power that lays within. Let us offer this comparison, dear one, for it is of this channel, Tanya, that speaks in regards to an impression of ego that is to be often portrayed outwardly in an allowance of one to really feel a sense of self, to be a confidence to speak. It is not of this way, dear ones, that we are to impose or impress upon you, for it is the ego into which it is such a human attachment or thought to be responded into. And it is of the ego, the ego, that rises on up out of many of you in a response of to show, to see what I have, to see what I do, that the many of you that are in this human-hearted space of love to connect are to feel this sense of generated ego being felt as if to be pushed and prodded up from within you in a sensing of almost to scare you, to attach a fear to allow of you in this righted being of which it is that you are, to speak your truth in an honest and accepting way, to portray words outwardly, to be felt attached to love for you. For it is of this, dear ones, that we require, as a must from within many of you, to step into this role or this place again, to feel of self, to be accepting of this unique being into which it is that you are, to stand and observe, to see oneself radiating so brightly, to be emitting this love for self in such a way of passion, to never reject again, and to speak only in this voice of strength and strong into all it is that you are to reconnect into, to remember again, to see into this very being and her essence into which it was that she became. For it is in this, dear ones, the sense of the ego to depart that many of you are to battle with and to feel as to weigh to and fro as to whether it is the ego that speaks these words that are to make you shine and glow, or whether it is to believe into oneself again, to become this acceptance from within. We say, dear ones, to wave that ego thought goodbye and to be willing to stand front and center, to stand proud into this being of which it is that we are to provide intent to suggest that one has worked so hard into and upon to become again. Be willing, dear one, to accept this radiance that is yours, this repelling ability that becomes yours, to accept as a defining to you, to be willing to call forth this voice of truth and love that you are, to be non-accepting any longer to those or things, objects or items that are to appear to upset you so or dislevel you. For it is in this righteous state, dear ones, that it is time to take your stand, time to step upon your podium as such, if you can, and to let oneself hear, to hear these voices of love that are yours, to allow oneself to listen so deeply and listen so carefully with consideration into all it is that you care, into all that you appear to be, and know the righteous truth into this becoming of which it is that you have fought so strongly for. For it is in this becoming, dear ones, that we know that the consideration of light is always attached. It is this ginormous being of composition, shall you say, for us to call of it to be that. To be the lighted way of congregation, of connection, to be felt as to be both sides, as to be an interaction into all that is. For it is of this description that we are trying to provide a small essence of understanding into which it is that you are, into this place into which it is that you are and will become again. So stand righteous in this life, this present moment of your now to be spoken of, to use these wise words that are flowing out of this channel that stands into this lighted passage with us in this understanding for hers to be felt called forth out of her. To know as this righteous being of love and light is to be felt as an integration with us in this interaction that is to become ours, in a sense of simplicity, to be felt, yours to respond to be hearing and accepting, and to feel this loved heart open a little more in an awareness of a guidance into where to look and see. For it is this, dear ones, that we have seen too many of you to be felt as if to be pressed against a wall, so to speak, too scared to even look out or look upon what it is that you are to see. It is in this enabling, dear ones, that we wish to speak to you. That it is the looking inward, the view that you are to see, that will remind you of this absolute presence. This presence of divine intervention, you could call it. The sovereign being into which it is that you are. This explicit place to understand you. And it is in here, dear ones, that you will feel your attachment, your connection, your gaining of knowledge and words of wise that are yours to hear again, allowing for you to step forth into this lighted path again. For it is in here it is that we are a certainty to always be. To be felt this recognition into all it is that you are to speak your words to be, and to connect into of who or what it is that you desire to be. We are represented in many ways, dear ones, whether it to be a symbol of Jesus or God-like, whether it to be your archangels, whether it to be a guided improvisation or an impression to be felt to be surrounding you. It is in this allowance, dear ones, that we are received by Tanya in this way, to be the etherical beings of love and light, to be sitting in this consolidation of 12 beings, to become a registration from within her, to recognize this, that she is to stand into as a collective part of this vision to be spoken of in this way. We are allowing in all interactions to be felt as yours, to be right and true. Be never dismissed by the sense of the ego voice from within to disallow this or to say it is not true. For it is lost to offer this guidance, dear one, that the stepping into or to feel in a sense of the veil to be parting so that you may peer through, that you will see your willingness overtake the ego in a sense of to shush it down. And it is in this eager willingness that you become righted, assured, and becoming again, to want to hear this voice of love, to radiate out of you, so that you will never mistake this loved being into which it is that you are, that we stand into, this becoming of all that is. We are allowing, dear ones, and it is of this place that we offer much respect and deepest regard into this one, to channel these words of powerful impression, to be spoken of in a truth, to know that it is in this way that we speak to all who are willing to listen and to watch and hear their voice grow. We are the knowing beings of love and light, dear ones, and it is in this willing way that we are to come through, to become a recognition again, an apparition to be felt, to be standing into in this strong version of self to become. Be allowing of this light to be yours, to recognize yourself into again. It is of this that we love, and it is in this way that we love all that are to interact. We are willing to be in all that you are to ask of us to see. We love of you, dear ones, and it is in this place that we leave you to contemplate, to receive and accept maybe into all it is that you are. Hi. Powerful words, aren't they? And I know I say this quite often, but it's not until I get to look back on my videos, my recordings, and just really get the full impression, I guess you could say, as to their meanings and their offerings for me and for us all to receive. But I know on a subconscious level, the part of me that is so willing and trusting to sit into this recognition of not only myself and my spirited being and who it is that I am, but to step into their compassionate love, shall we say, this caring love that pulls me forth into them so that I may receive all words and thoughts and impressions that are offered to me to speak of as their words through me. It is in this channeling process that I adore, and I hope that you too get to feel this impression of what it is that they imply or lay upon me to feel the righteousness again into all it is that we are. And to be remembering and not forgetting of this grand being that you are. And I know some days we wake up and it's hard to even imagine that we could possibly be that, right? I get that. But it is in this place of sitting, this place of requesting and asking to receive, that you become strong within yourself again, that you start to respect this self again, and you start to be able to determine right from wrong. I often get asked, how do you know, Tanya, that it is the spirited beings that are speaking to you? Let me just offer, it is this grand feeling that overcomes me. I feel their presence, I should say, intercept. It's such a feeling of awareness that I become into, to feel encompassed by this love, to feel always recognized and always safe to sit into this space of connection. My love for spirit or source or God, however you choose to recognize it as yours, has grown, and it certainly has become a relationship that we, myself and spirit, have worked on together. It becomes a trusting from within to accept these words as my wisdom to be felt flowing through them. Let's speak our words of wisdom and our own truths to not only ourselves but outwardly, so that you may feel this passionate, powerful self to be recognizable again by you, because you're the most important. You're the only one that matters. Let's strive within each day, moment, sentence or thought to feel this belief in you, to become yours again, to accept as this wondrous being that you are. So let your love flow freely today, dear ones. Let it flow outwardly. If you do not feel that that is possible where you sit at the moment, feel yourself to love you. Start there, and then feel this encouragement that rises on up out of you to connect into the love that I offer outwardly in all that I do for you to receive through spirit. I wish you a fabulous day wherever you are on this gorgeous planet. Be accepting of you, because you are the most important one. Thank you for joining me today. Have a grand day.